Now then, if you're listening to this, it means one of two things. Either you slept rather well after our previous discussion, or you did not. Both outcomes are entirely acceptable. In either case, you have returned, which suggests curiosity or habit, possibly both. Let us address this calmly. There is no shame in returning to a comfortable place, even if that place contains opinions. Make yourself comfortable once more. Settle. Adjust the pillows. Yeah, like that. Excellent. Tonight I should like to make one thing perfectly clear. We are not here to encourage improper thoughts. We are merely acknowledging that they exist. Pretending otherwise would be dishonest. And honesty, as we all know, is a cornerstone of good character, even when it becomes inconvenient. The evening has progressed quietly. The room is dimmer than last time. The lamp has been turned lower. Not for atmosphere, you understand, but for the eyes. Outside, the rain has slowed. It now falls lazily, without commitment. A sound that suggests persistence without urgency. One might admire that. I find myself, once again, seated comfortably, although this time I am more aware of the chair beneath me. It has moulded itself rather well. Supportive, firm in all the right places. Entirely innocent observations. Earlier, as I prepared for the evening, I caught my reflection in the mirror. This is a purely practical activity. One must ensure one looks presentable, even when alone. Still, mirrors can be treacherous things. They linger. They show you not only how you appear, but how you feel. I noticed, for example, that I seemed relaxed, more so than usual. The shoulders lower, the posture less rigid. A dangerous development, perhaps. Comfort as a way of loosening things. I turn my attention, deliberately, to the familiar objects around me. The book on the table, unread tonight. The teacup, hot this time, thankfully. I lift it slowly, aware of the warmth against my fingers. One notices temperature far more in the evening. I sip. Yes, much better. It is remarkable how the mind behaves when it senses comfort. It begins quietly to suggest things. Nothing outrageous at first, just questions, harmless ones. For instance, is it truly so improper to notice someone, to register their presence, to acknowledge, internally, of course, that they are pleasant? One can argue this is simply appreciation, an entirely civilized trait. And yet, appreciation, when allowed to linger, can evolve. I clear my throat softly. That'll do. There was a moment today. Brief but memorable. A conversation. Again, there are always conversations, aren't they? Voices close enough to be warm. A shared pause. Silence, when it is shared, carries weight. And in that silence, I became aware, not of what was said, but of what wasn't. The space between words. The gentle awareness of proximity. Nothing occurred. Nothing needed to. Still, the mind takes notes. You may find your breathing has deepened now. The gentle heaviness returning. Good. This is where the more interesting thoughts attempt to slip through. Do not resist too strongly. Resistance creates tension. We are simply observing. I find myself wondering, purely in an abstract sense, about restraint. It is praised, of course, encouraged. But restraint implies something is being held back. And one cannot help but ask, what precisely? Curiosity, I think, is unavoidable. And curiosity, when paired with imagination, well, one must tread carefully. I shift slightly in the chair, just enough to remain comfortable. Movement at night feels more deliberate. Each adjustment carries intention, or perhaps that is merely fatigue. Yes, fatigue is a satisfactory explanation. Have you ever noticed how certain memories return only when you are alone? Not the dramatic ones, the quiet ones. A look exchanged, a hand passed close enough to be felt but not touched. These moments do not demand attention during the day, but at night they stretch. They invite interpretation. I allow myself a small indulgence. I imagine, briefly, what it would be like to be less composed. Not reckless, certainly not rude, just honest. To say what comes to mind without filtering it through etiquette. It's an amusing thought. A dangerous one. I smile despite myself. If you found similar ideas drifting through your own mind, that is quite all right. We are not acting on them. We are simply letting them exist. Thoughts are like guests. If you do not make a fuss, they leave sooner. Usually. The room feels warmer again. Or perhaps I have simply grown more aware of myself within it. The weight of fabric, the way it rests, the sensation of stillness. There is something undeniably intimate about being alone with one's thoughts. No audience, no judgment, just honesty. I close my eyes once more. The darkness welcomes me easily this time. Images float by, Not clear enough to examine, thankfully. Just impressions, suggestions. Nothing that demands explanation. I think perhaps we are learning something important. That control does not mean absence, it means choice. And tonight, the choice is rest. Even if the path to rest meanders slightly, your body may feel heavier now. That pull towards sleep is stronger. Let it take you. You need not resolve anything tonight, improper thoughts included. They will still be there tomorrow, behaving themselves, no doubt. And so we settle once more. Comfortable, relaxed, a little amused, and entirely, impeccably human.